Mm, 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 mm. Shawn Layden rips again on Xbox Game Pass. Hmm. Again. Yes, chat again. And we got some techie info to talk about. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a brand new day. Crazy Lou's here, got something to say. Good morning, gamers, rise and shine. It's time to play, let's have a good time. Morning, gaming community. With Crazy Lou, it's a world of unity. Upbeat and lively, we're feeling so free. In the world of games, we're just meant to be. Grab us, come and eat a scene. Crazy Lou is ready, it's a gaming scene. Roomies trading people, orders in. All recent gaming, go rates and pay top bean. Good morning, coming moving. It's a world of unity. Upbeat and lively, we're feeling so free. Wake up, it's a brand new day.
Initiating launch sequence.
Let's begin. Am I live? Am I here? Can y'all see me? No, that's the man's chat dance. So that's not a good dance though. But I don't know if you guys can see me. Let me go ahead and check. I think yes, we are here. We are live, and yes, let's get this baby on the roll. And good morning, everybody. Also, afternoon and evening, the crazy one with Shy, beautiful, and awesome. Is my mic on? Is my microphone on? Yeah, I think it is. It's on. Hold on. Whoops. Okay, chat. Sorry about this, chat. I'm talking in my Osbot microphone, not in my regular microphone. So, hold on, chat. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Yep, I knew something was weird was happening. But good thing. Good thing, though. Good thing. My Osbot microphone is on. But, here we go. Ka-choo. Okay, got it plugged in. Yep, because the thing was, I was printing out something yesterday and I forgot to plug back in the microphone. Thank God for the Osbot microphone. So let me fix this real quick, chat. Oh, I am so sorry, chat. I'm so sorry. Thank God I took notice of that. Audio input. Okay, here we go. So, yeah. All right. Yes, we are. All right. This is way much better, man. 16 people already here. This is nice. This is awesome, man. How you guys doing this morning? What's up? How you guys doing? What's new? What's cooking? Will the broke boy Lewis in the building. Let's go, Ian. What's up, Ian? Ian, I had a good friend back in high school, and his name was Ian. He used to fly planes, and every time I saw him, I used to say, "Ian." He went, "Lewis." We yell at each other like two crazy guys, but hey, he was a really good friend, man. I miss Ian. Oh man, Jacob Novik, what's up, man? Jacob Novik already here saying, "What did Sean the Bozo say now?" Well, he said a lot of things. We're gonna read it, but it's gonna be fun. DJ Dinner G, you look like you could Sean Layden brother. What? Out of all people, really? Shawn Layden, brother? Man. Shawn Layden, a man who pretty much hates everything. I'm just kidding, Louis. Morning. You're just kidding. Okay. Ooh. Instead of life with Louis, this is late with Louis. I know, Wes Davis. I know. The thing is, you guys need to understand something, right? My morning shows, you gotta wait more for the signal. I just set up the time, right? But sometimes I can be on time, but it all depends if I don't get all these phone calls. Like for example, this morning I woke up at 6 a.m., right? Got my exercises in, right? At 7:30, I started receiving calls. I started receiving calls till 8:30, 8:35. They didn't even let me get a shower. That's how many calls I got. It was phone call after phone call after phone call. And yeah. And so as soon as I jumped in the shower, got my coffee and everything, I had one last phone call before I jumped in the show. That's why I was kind of like 8 or 10 minutes late because I had one more phone call to take. And now they put me to a side. Put me to a side. But just in case if they call, and if it's an emergency, I gotta pick up. So yeah, it all depends. It all depends, guys. I mean, it's like that. And I don't know why my phone decided to open the thing here. But yeah, all right, cool stuff, cool stuff. What's up, Eagle? Eagle started following me over there on Twitch. Hold on, Eagle. Let me open the Twitch up because I have not opened that up yet. But yes, all right, let's keep going down the list. All right, so we see Farke. Louis is trying to locate the live button. Nah, I found it. I found it. No worries. It was right there because I usually, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, I turn on the computer, let it sit for a while. So that way, those antivirus and all that stuff, gets things updated so that way it doesn't bump into the show, live show, and everything, just to get all that stuff out the way. Once the computer settles in, I'm already live. So, all right, let's go. Let's see. He's getting a massive cup of coffee. Yes, I always have to have my coffee. Roshan Epinger. How are you, Roshan? What's new? What's up, man? Let's keep going. Mandalorian Martin, what's up, man? Hey, man, I was looking for you the other day to play some Dead by Daylight. I couldn't find you. I said, man, this man is not online. He got to be busy. He has to be busy that I couldn't find him online. Fun fact about Louis, he has 333 friends on Xbox. That's half of the. Damn. God damn, fuck you. Why you guys got to call me Devil Louis or something like that? I mean, hell, if I was the devil, I'd be rich. Yep. I'd be rich and living by the sea if I was the devil. Nah, the devil too evil, man. He too busy being evil. I can't be evil. I gotta show love. I gotta show compassion. That's the way you gotta be. And of course, I gotta slander sometimes. Yeah, we gotta do that. We gotta do that. Louis, did you see the Black Ops 7 marketing has begun? They published a mock article on Forbes on about the guild. Ooh, interesting. Don't make Louis bring out. Let me see what it says here. Don't make Louis bring out the sword. Massive discount on Resident Evil games right now. Go for it. Lafayette, you was looking like you going live button. It took me a while, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, it was all phone calls. I agree with that, Louis. Have a great beer, though. It looks like young Shawn Layden for real, though. Damn. Jacob, nobody picking on me, too. Fark, member for 14 months economy class. Thank you for that, brother. That is fantastic. Louis, I put the article in the general Discord. I go get it. Rachie, member for 24 months. Oh, man. Thank you for that, man. That is fantastic also. That is fantastic. So, chat, let's get this sucker on the road because we got so many things to talk about. And I got to tell you something. Chat, when something good comes up, it doesn't matter if it's the competition or something, we got to applaud it, right, chat? We got to give it its applause. We got to go out there, applaud to them, be like, oh, this is interesting. Especially that this is happening over there. And like I said, I got to give them their applause. You got to give them their applause. I got to grab it, and say, good job on this, of course. I'm happy for them that they're doing this, right? So here we go. Let me bring this up. Hold on, chat. Let me see. Ooh. Nope. Okay, here we go. Yes. Okay, so let me put this on the share screen scene. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Let me put this on the share screen scene. All right, here we go. Got it. Yes. Now, switch over. So, chat, look. This is cool. This is cool stuff. This is cool stuff. I mean, I'm seeing something beautiful right here. Hands down, I got to applaud to them for this. Why do I got to applaud to them to this? Because, hell, this is nice stuff. I mean, this month, PlayStation Plus actually looking like a good service. And last month was too because they had this, man. That's pretty good on their side. I mean, for this month of PlayStation Plus, right? They have Mortal Kombat 1, Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man remaster again, but that was already on there. But okay, cool. Sword of the Sea or Earth Defense Force 6. And I think there's Harold Halliburton in there or something. Unicorn Overlord, I know it's in there. And that's Richie's game, Unicorn Overlord. But yeah, it's actually looking really good. Wow. That really had me with my mouth open. I was like, what? PlayStation doing something nice over here? Nice. I mean, we got to applaud to them when it comes to that. We got to applaud to them when it comes to that, man. I mean, they're doing a pretty good job with that stuff. They are. Pretty cool stuff right here, huh? Pretty cool stuff. Um, Live is evil backwards. Yep, I know. I know. I know. They put Spider-Man back on the service, PlayStation first party title after being off for 2 years. Yep. But hey, besides that, they put Mortal Kombat 1. Good. They put Earth Defense Force. They put Unicorn Overlord. They put all these games. I mean, they're doing pretty good. They're trying to catch up, but I sound a bit funny. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on. Give me a second, chat. Hold on. Let me check something out. Hold on. So, hold on, chat. Give me 1 second. Let me see what's going on. I sound a bit funny. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on. Am I better now? Check. Give me a second, chat. Testing 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. Okay. That's good. Okay. Maybe there was a. Maybe I hit a. What's it called when you're on an airplane? And the airplane starts to shake. Well, it's never good when an airplane starts to shake. What's that thing called? Turbulence. Maybe I ran into some turbulence. Yep. Maybe I ran into some turbulence. That happens sometimes. I'm sorry. All right, we're fine now. So, like I was saying, beautiful seeing this catalog over here in the PlayStation Plus. And not only that, last month too, it was looking gorgeous. I mean, wow, Cyberpunk on there. And the month before we had Diablo. I mean, they're kicking butt. They're picking it up with this stuff, right? You got Mortal Kombat 1 now. You got Marvel Spider-Man back again, but okay. You also have Unicorn Overlord. You have, I think Harold Halliburton is there. I don't know. I think there's a game in there I can't read. But yeah, it's looking good. We gotta applaud. Yeah. All right, Sony. Guys doing a good thing. But is there a catch to this? Is there a catch to this? Why y'all being so friendly lately? Could it be, chat? Could it be, chat? Could it be something that I saw that happened around the time of June? Could it be that? Because, man, y'all been too friendly. Y'all been giving all these great games on the PS Plus and been too nice to the PlayStation user. But chat, could it be this? Could it be? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Yep. Let's see if that happens, chat, because hey, they hinted that back in June. Sony hints at PlayStation Plus price increase after highest tiers attract more players. Maybe that's why they've been too friendly to you users. So hey, guys, just in case, get ready. Hey. Yes, sir. Let's get ready for this. Yep. I already have 2 copies of Unicorn Overlord. Rachel, you probably have 10, man. You probably have it on your cell phone. You probably have it on the. You have it everywhere. You love that game, man. You talk so much about that game. It's the same. Plume talks a lot about that game, too. Yeah, but it's a rental service, Louis. I've been told that's bad for us. I got a question for you, bro boy. What is good for us, though? What is good for them? I mean, I saw something today that was like, no way. Are you serious? It's like, no, 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 this can't be. This can't be. I saw something of a person going out there and attacking Nixus. No joke. They're already attacking Nixus. After they send 1,000 emails to Sony, right? Remember, they sent 1,000 emails to Sony and say, hey, Sony, look, hey, Sony, hey. I mean, literally, these guys sat on those computers, started typing to them, started going to the forum, started to go everywhere, saying, Sony, please, no, don't go third party, no, don't do this to us. Now they out here attacking Nixus. The question is, chat, I got a question for you guys. When will they learn? I don't understand. When will they learn? Because look, they have done some things that I'm like, why are you guys doing this? Why are you guys keep on going out there attacking stuff? You know, especially these companies when these companies are just looking for money. I seriously don't understand. There you go. Even Will the Broke Boy Lewis knows who I'm talking about. Why do you guys do this? I mean, seriously, why do you do this? Why do you go ahead and attack developers? Why do you go ahead attack things from a company when you don't agree with it? You can rant, you can bitch about it, you can complain. It's okay, but still, it's sad that you have to go out there, bitch and complain like like you're a 5-year-old kid. You know, it sucks that you're all doing that. But damn, now you got to take it personal onto a level and start attacking them. Seriously. How do you know? Because he knows. How does he know? Because I saw that tweet too. I saw that tweet too. That's how we know. And he knows what I'm talking about because I saw it. And so when I saw that, I said, you know what? I got to talk a little bit about this because it's kind of sad that you have to go out there and attack Nixus just to become the ultimate hero. Yes, I am Japan hates Xbox. I am the ultimate hero. I'm wearing my cape and I don't care. I'm going to go out there and slander this because that's who I am. Really? You're going to go out there and slander this? Seriously? Go out there and slander this because you don't agree with what the company is doing. Well, let me tell you something. I got a question for you. When you guys were busy, when Last of Us 2 came out, mad as hell with the story about Joel dying. He dies. Hey, spoiler alert, guys, Joel dies. He dies. You guys went out there, spoiled the game, got mad, pissed off that Joel died and all this stuff. You guys threatened the actress. She even had to get bodyguards. And the question is, with all that stuff you all did the devs say, hey, these guys aren't happy that Joe died. Let me go in. Let me pull the game back. Let me go ahead and change the story. And let's put that Joe didn't die. He goes into a coma or something. So that way they don't get mad. Did you see those guys do that? Did you see those guys even on the TV series change that story for your pleasure so y'all don't be mad that Joe dies? Really? Did they do that too? No. Do you think that by taking pictures of your hoo-hoo dillies and sending it to devs has changed something too? No. And y'all still don't learn. Y'all still try to go out there and attack this. For what? What? I'm trying to understand, why do y'all do this? For what? For what? When at the end of the day, the company's going to do what makes them get better. The company's going to do, right? The company's going to do what it needs to do. Because here's what's funny. Right? Yeah. All right. Here's what's funny, chat. This is what's funny, right? So, you guys go out there and do all this stuff, and nothing ever changes. Why do you think by doing it again and again and again, things are going to change? Why do you think Sony's going to say, hey, I'm going to change my ways. I'm not going to go full third party like I said I would, because y'all got mad. Number one, y'all don't buy games. Number two, you guys got the whole thing wrong about how gaming works nowadays. You guys don't sit down, don't do your research, don't convince yourselves on what's going on. So some YouTubers go online, right? They go online and they do this, right? Some YouTubers go online, they grab like a let's say this is a hand, and they go to your back and say, "Hey, it's okay, buddy. I'm with you. I agree with you. You are the man. I mean, what you're saying is true. I'm with you. Just for you to have your egos go bigger." That's what they do. Some YouTubers like me try to be as sincere as I can be and try to tell you the truth on how things are going out there. And you guys get mad at me, you guys slander me, you guys try to kick my butt, and you guys get offended for what I'm saying. Because y'all think I'm saying, like, yeah, I want PlayStation to die, I want it to burn in hell. No, I just want your narratives to disappear because your narratives don't get you anywhere either. That's another thing. You guys go out there and rant with your narratives, and they don't get you anywhere either. Because it's kind of funny now, chat, and I talked about this yesterday, right? With a couple of my friends, and I told them this. These guys are PlayStation guys, and I told them this. Chat, what happened when Horizon went to PC? What happened after that? What did they say? And do you know the broke boy Lewis with a beautiful and awesome $2 super chat? He says, I put a pic of the block in general Discord. Louis, thank you for that. I'm going to go pick it up. The thing is, I don't know if I can share it on the screen, but I will go pick it up. Hold on. Switched up. No, hold on. Let me do something real quick. All right. Where is this thing? Hold on, chat. Give me a second. Let me go pick this up. So let me tell you what he said. Since Will the Broke Boy got it. If you guys are on our Discord, I keep telling you guys, join our Discord because we talk in there sometimes. You know, we have good conversations. I'm not like one of those guys who has a Discord and has people in there and not talk to them. I do talk to them. Whenever I got the time, you know, not as busy as I am, I sit there and I talk and we have good conversations, you know? But yeah, let me tell you what he said. I honestly, this is Japan Hates Xbox. He says, I honestly couldn't hate at Nixosoft for more than I already do. Bro, I got a question for you. Simple and easy. Do you have well let me see now. Do you have $100 billion in your pocket? Not million, billion. Do you have $100 billion in your pocket? Billion. Are you in a big ass investor to PlayStation? Because in order for that to happen, you got to at least invest $10 billion on PlayStation or $20 billion on PlayStation for them to sit down and listen to your ass. While you don't have that money, they don't give a shit. Treacherous Scum Studio that offers nothing to PlayStation users whatsoever. They're also butthurt and extremely woke as well. The worst combination. That is sad that you had to go out there and do that. That is sad. Seriously. Just for you to get the clicks, just for you to get the views, just for you to say, hey, I'm the man because of what I said out there. Just for you to get the appraisal of your PlayStation buddies to do this. It's okay, bro. It's good. I got your back. You're the man. I'm glad you said this. And then get everybody on a rant about it. Get the hate trending. Because that's what you all do. Get the hate. Now the question is, are things going to change? Like I said again, The Last of Us 2. When Joel dies, spoiler alert again, did they go in and change the game? No. The TV series came out a couple years later. Couple years later, did you change the TV series on the story? No. Seriously, I don't understand why do you guys do this? They're not gonna change anything. But like I said, the only time a company will listen to you is if you have $100 billion and you say, "Hey, bro, PlayStation, I love you so much. Here's 20 billion." Man, they will do anything you want if you give them $20 billion. So, hey, buddy, let me tell you something. Go play different lottos or something. I don't know what you're gonna do and start to get rich, get really rich, and go buy the Sony and give them a ton of money so they can listen to your ass. Because if after that, they're listening to you for shit. I'm sorry, that's the truth. A customer versus an investor is two different things. But okay. All right. Let's keep on going, chat. So, sad. That's sad how things turn out to be like that. So, like I was saying, chat, about that, right? Let's bring it back into the question I was asking earlier. What happened after Horizon went to PC? We all started telling them, hey, PlayStation fans, everything is going to PC. They were like, nope, And we were talking about PlayStation games. They're like, when is God of War going to PC? When is Spider-Man go to PC? I don't see no Spider-Man on PC. I don't see no God of War on PC. I don't see nothing like this going on PC. That's what they said. And I got a question to you, chat. Did it later on go to PC? Yes or no? Did it? After they were out there saying, no, that's not going to happen, did it or did it not? Because, chat, I see a Spider Man on PC. I see a God of War on PC. I see all this stuff on PC. I do see them. I see all that stuff out there. And even Insomnia came out and said, no, Spider Man will never go on PC. Shit, that came back and bit him in the ass, didn't it? So at the end of the day, though, chat, what's going to happen on Xbox? What are they saying out there, chat? Aren't they saying, no, I don't see any single player games going on Xbox? Oh, but y'all said the same thing back in the day when they were going on PC. Ha ha! Figure that out, guys. So, right? That's the truth. So all right, I'll get to the Black Ops 7 article. Let me get into the Windows Central article because there's a good article out there about this. If you guys own this type of machinery, right? And we'll read this real quick and then I'll jump into the Black Ops and then we'll head into the Shawn Layden discussion, which is really, really interesting. I want to read the Shawn Layden discussion again. I mean, I didn't read it yesterday, but I read a couple hints out there on Twitter and I was like, this man is already slandering Game Pass again? Again. Seriously, again. Incredible. So let me get into this, and I'll get you with a bro boy. I'll read about the whole Call of Duty thing. So, like I was saying though, right? We got some techie stuff to talk about today, and here comes the techie stuff. Let's get through it real quick. Microsoft commits to improve gaming on ARM-based Windows 11's PCs. We're developing new features that will enable more games to be played on ARM. Good. That's actually good news. So if you guys own what is it? Is it ARM PCs or whatever? What are they called? ARM-based Windows 11 PCs. So if you guys own ARM-based Windows 11 PCs, this is actually good news for you guys. Microsoft has announced an update to the Xbox App, which enables the ability to download Xbox PC games on ARM-based devices while also committing to improving game on ARM devices as a whole. Good stuff. So here we go. Microsoft has announced a new preview update. A new preview update for the Xbox app on Windows 11 today that introduces support for downloading Xbox PC games on Windows PCs 11, right? Devices such as those powered by the Snapdragon X chip, system on a chip, SOC. Up until now, the Xbox app on ARM-powered PCs has only been able to stream games, but it's now gaining the ability to download and run them locally. Good stuff. While users on ARM-based devices have always been able to download games from third-party storefronts like Steam and Origin, the Xbox have removed the ability to do so, only offering the ability to stream games via Xbox cloud gaming to users. The Microsoft Store had a similar limitation blocking the majority of games from being downloadable on ARM-based PCs. Shit, that's bad. The block was frustrating, as while a number of games do fail to run on ARM-based PCs, a lot of them don't. And a lot of the games in the Microsoft Store should run on Windows on ARM PCs with little to no issues. It seems Microsoft is finally waking up to this fact and letting users try to download and run them. Good stuff. That's good news. So this is why I'm reading it. Just if you guys that own ARM PCs, right? Good for you all. Now you guys can play on this. Now you guys can download and play this stuff. So in addition to the added capability of downloading games locally, Microsoft has also announced that it's working on a number of features of improvements for Windows 11 that are designed to improve the gaming experience on ARM-based PCs. This is too much ARM-based PCs. Windows and Xbox are working closely together to ensure compatibility across the catalog, and we're developing new features that will enable games to be played on ARM-based PCs on Windows 11 in the coming months. I don't know how many times I've said that, but okay. Let me drink some water. Jesus Christ, Lord. So let me see what the chat's saying. I've seen PS fanboys twist that Spider-Man 1 too. They said, well, technically, Spider-Man isn't on PC. Spider-Man Remastered is. That's good stuff. I just love when they... Oh, Lord. That's good stuff. This is the next step to back compact, cheaper, cooler running machines to play games on better battery life. There you go. See? Hey, CC, good morning. How are you? So let's keep on going, right? This is the first time that Microsoft has openly committed. Let me see. Hold on, chat. Okay, good. This is the first time that Microsoft has openly committed to improving the game situation on Windows on ARM, which has faced an uphill battle as most Windows games are not natively compiled for the architecture. While Microsoft didn't choose an improved emulation layer for running x86 apps and games on ARM with the Windows 11 version 24H2 update, a number of games still don't run well or at all. Hopefully, Microsoft is teasing improvements that would allow more games to run under emulation. One reason why some games don't run on ARM because of anti-cheat services, which aren't natively compiled for ARM and fail to operate under emulation. If Microsoft can improve the OS so that these anti-cheat services can run under emulation, that will allow a whole bunch of additional games to run on ARM. When Capcom first announced the Snapdragon X SoC last year, it touted gaming as a significant area of improvement for a new generation of chips. For the first time in history, ARM-powered Windows PCs will be capable of running AAA titles even under emulation thanks to Microsoft's new emulation layer built alongside these new chips. Oh Lord, this is long. Ah! However, when the Snapdragon X platform finally launched, while a lot of these games did run, gamers were left disappointed of the performance and compatibility, as well a lot of games did run. The emulation layer was still causing performance hiccups and graphical issues, most of which wouldn't be a problem if the games were natively compiled for ARM. But anti-cheat has the biggest issue facing Windows on ARM's PC gaming. Games that rely on it wouldn't even run though a lot of the time, meaning many popular titles like Halo Infinite, Fortnite, and did it say Liege? Did it say Liege? Oh Lord, League of Legends. Okay, chat. Is there a game called League of Legends out there that I have not seen? We're unplayable on ARM-based PCs, even if it ran well under emulation. So hopefully, Microsoft has plans to address these key issues with the emulation layer going forward. First off, you got to fix that because I have never heard of a League of Legends, but okay. NVIDIA is rumored to be working with ARM-based chips that will launch as soon as next year. When this happens, it will be only a matter of time we see the first ARM-based Windows PC powered by an NVIDIA chip, which will likely lend themselves to gaming rather well. So it's vital that Microsoft improves these aspects of gaming on Windows on ARM before that happens. In recent months, has Microsoft announced changes to Windows 11 designed to improve the platform for gaming as a whole. It has committed to building our dedicated UI and experience for handheld gaming PCs that will make them easier to use when powered by Windows, including for the recently announced Xbox ROG Ally. We're yet to see any ARM's powered handheld gaming PCs running Windows 11, but Qualcomm just recently announced the Snapdragon G on SoC, designed specifically for handheld PCs, and it's likely NVIDIA will get to it on the front too. So it's likely only for a matter of a time. Good stuff. I mean, chat, listen, I'm reading this real quick, because at the end of the day, this is good stuff, especially for you guys who have Windows ARM PCs. This is a good thing. So, hey, get to it. Start gaming on it. And like I always say, if you guys are gaming on that device, come by, talk to me about it, and tell me how the experience is. If it's good or bad, I don't care. At the end of the day, if we got to rant, we rant in order for it to get better. Yes, sir. That's what we do here. Yep. So let's see what chat is saying. CC, good morning. Especially our first time, I guess we've only been saying it for years. Uh oh. Who Dinnies? Laugh aloud. No, it's not Dinnies. It's who Dillies. Because I don't. The other terms are kind of so it's fun to use who dilly. Yeah, I got that from South Park. Shout out to South Park for that. Yep. I know someone in chat enjoys the who dilly thing because he comes in here and says a lot of things with who dilly after I said it. Dark Zone. Here he goes. I'm calling it now that all PlayStation games that are on PC will be the first games to come to Xbox. That every other game going forward. Damn. Dave Reezy, good morning to you, sir. Good morning, Dark Zone. How you guys doing? What's cooking, man? I mean, so much cool stuff happening. Look, this morning I applaud PlayStation, right? For their store. I mean, their PlayStation Plus looks good. I gotta say, it's been looking good for the last 3 months. Hey, hand of applause to them. Like I said, they're doing something good. I'm happy for them, but maybe there is a catch. Like I said, maybe they're hinting because in they hinted that in I think it was in June. Yeah, we read June, right? Did we read June? They hinted in June they were going to increase the PS Plus price. So maybe they're making it better to look for that excuse to, you know, yeah, increase that price. Yeah. That's coming soon. No worries. That's coming soon. When? We don't know, but I know it's coming soon. So other than that, we also talk about how Japan Hates Xbox went on a bitching frenzy. He went out there and attacked Nix's. And now, he got his support from his little buddies, his little PlayStation buddies be like, it's okay, Japan, you're right. Nix's suck. And like I said, if you had $100 billion and gave Sony, what was it, 20 billion, I mean, Sony would be like, hey, we love you. My God, I just love how they go out there and complain, thinking that Sony's gonna change something or do something different. It's so funny. I just love it. I just love it. So back to this, right? And now we're gonna jump into an article that my man, Will the Broke Boy Lewis, dropped in the general Discord. Here we go. Business side. All right, let me get this thing out here. Yes, sir. Woo-hoo. Oh, it's a Forbes article. Oh shit. Let's see. They have not blocked it. Praise. Let me pray to the Lord that they have not blocked this, because if they did, we are screwed. All right, we're here. Okay, we are here. Good stuff. Good stuff. Is who still hiding? Who that? See, Microsoft and Sony can be nice to Halo stuff and Helldivers too. Yeah, that's some. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday. It's kind of nice, seeing stuff like that. It's kind of beautiful when you sit there and you look at stuff like this. It's beautiful when you see how companies get together, doing collaborations instead of going on this console war stuff. It's so nice. We gotta love it. But I think that evil rant from Japan Hates Xbox came by because he was mad that he saw that they were doing a collab and bringing Halo, to Helldivers, which is a good thing. What a great way to introduce these Xbox fans, especially these Halo fans, to such a sweet game. Man, it's fun stuff. Yep, when you see them Batman go out there, it's fun, but it's sad at the same time because, damn, I don't understand why they gotta go bitch. And that man, I do not know who you talking about. Who you talking? Because I don't know who the hell that man is. Seriously, I don't. I don't know. I knew someone like that a long time ago, but I don't know who he is. Yep. So let's get into this. What I'm trying to say is, Jay Reezy, I don't know where he at. I don't care where he at. And anything he has to say, I don't give a damn about. Seriously, I just don't. Just don't. Bro, he's an old ass man. He's an old ass man. And what he did was the next frontier. Why the Guild's defense tech heralds a new era of protection. As reports. Please, Lord, let this not be long. As reports of unprecedented threats of the data privacy coincide with concerns about a recent uptick in violence, a relatively unknown military technology company has emerged with a unique value proposition. Cutting-edge defense system adapted for civilian use, counter-surveillance, and personal protection. Yes, guys, they are building Terminators. Derizi, I know who he is. Derizi trying to explain to me. I was just joking with you, Derizi. I'm just trolling. I know who he is, Derizi, and of course I know who he is. Who doesn't know who he is? But at the end of the day, nowadays, I got a question. How can you listen to a guy who was wrong about everything he said? You can't listen to him anymore. He's not a person that he can bring facts. He's doing this just to get clicks. When he goes out there, puts out a tweet and goes console war and stuff. Now I got a question because look what he did, right? He flipped. Right? He chose the other side. And how long was the celebration for? Let me see. Chat, do me a favor. When did Jacob? I know you're in here. When did Xbox start importing their games? The first 4 games. When did it start? Go for it. When did they announce? I think it was in February. When was it? The last time I was in Germany. You know when it was, Jacob. Go ahead and go get it. If it was in 2024, I mean, that celebration lasted real quick. But yeah, let's keep reading. The Guild, a quiet enterprise leader with largely classified dealings in military intelligence and weapons development, is pivoting from shadow operations to the consumer market in part to um, address what its leaders say is a dire public need for advanced protection. Ah, says here, Forbes, Guild, the next frontier. Hmm. All we gotta try. Listen, what we gotta do. All we gotta do is add two red eyes onto that. Add a couple teeth like this. That's how their teeth under teeth like this all the time. Like, yeah. And if we add a couple teeth right there and add a little bit of muscles, we got the Arnie Terminator. Yes, sir, we do. Hmm. In an era where autonomous AI systems protect military bases and robot dogs patrol war zones, the Guild believes its mission is to become a guardian for elder care facilities, computers, and critical infrastructure, explains Victor Thane, the Guild Chief Technology Officer. In an overt effort to differentiate itself from the defense tech pioneers who blurred the lines between Silicon Valley innovation and government contracting. The Guild expressly promises users that it won't monetize their data for profit. Instead, it aims to adapt, simplify, and re engineer advanced military technology for public benefit as part of a calculated institutional bet. In a collapsing trust economy, security may become the only asset that truly appreciates. Our job was never to be known, says Thane. It was to be ready. Featured on the cover of the latest issue of Forbes is a visceral representation of that readiness. A humanoid bipedal robot with advanced capabilities made for consumers. It's just one in the Guild's sophisticated product suit engineered to protect everyday civilians with military grade technology. From conflict zones to consumer markets, founded by former defense strategists and robotic engineers, the Guild has spent over a decade building AI and autonomous systems for the government and security clients. Many of its early developments remain classified, but it works reportedly span counter threat modeling, renaissance robotics, and mission critical intelligence systems. Now that enterprise, and now I think they're going to add Omni movement to it. But let's go. Now, expertise has been funneled into a line of adaptive defense products designed both for institutional use and practical domestic applications like property monitoring. This suite includes humanoid robotic system. Ah, trying to sell you this robot. I buy a paddle robot designed for live reconnaissance capable of running autonomous perimeter checks and performing AI-driven threat evaluations, deploying on autonomous weapons, groundcraft dog. Hmm. A four-legged drone trained to identify and neutralize aggression-based threats, engineered to operate without exposing its owners to liability. Autonomous drone system and every platform that scans, processes, and maps dynamic environments in real time to access and migrate risk as they emerge. Underpinning this hardware system is an advanced intelligence platform that learns users' environments and routines to perform predictive analysis. Every product is designed to detect anomalies from irregular movement patterns to hostile microexpressions and act on that information autonomously. Mm. We do not collect, we do not need, says Thing. Our systems are designed to safeguard, not surveil. Our mission is to protect when conventional safeguards fall short. But what happens if they become self aware, though? Hmm. Whether the Guild's visions of public defense becomes mainstream or remains niche, its people first objective promises to usher in a new era of demand for its technology enterprise to define the responsibility to users. The next evolution of defense, the rise of AI powered consumer protection system raises broader questions about ethics, aut- autonomy, sorry about that, and the line between preparedness and intrusion. But the Guild's founders argue that shift is inevitable. Today's threats don't look like yesterday, says Crane. Of course they don't. You're using AI. I mean, if they become self-aware, we're screwed. And tomorrow's won't wait for consent. Our job is to keep people safe, and the rules don't apply. Yeah, that's how you get rich. Mm-hmm. My line, yeah. The guild is already seeing a surge in adoption by hospitals, private investors, former defense officials, and global security firms, all looking for adaptive, learning-based systems of protection. With plans to expand into strategic civilian infrastructure, global partnerships, and the next-gen AI-protected systems, the guild is poised to rewrite what provide defense means for public protection. Good stuff. That's a good story. Good, great way to introduce the series. Great way to introduce the series. That's a great way, to be honest, though. Good stuff. Good reading right there. That was actually fun to read. It's a great way to introduce the story. Of what's coming. I can't wait for next week. I mean, seriously, I can't wait for Gamescom because lately, chat news has been crazy, crazy, crazy slow. Well, people are basically talking about the same thing about how PlayStation, went third party and all this stuff, and all these fanboys fighting back and forth, stuff like that. JC Denton, what's up, man? Good morning. Welcome to the show. He says Sony wins by default. Even Microsoft started releasing games on PS5. How is that a win for Sony? I'm asking a serious question. How is that a win? Because that's the thing, though. What you guys don't understand is that's not a win for anyone. I mean, at the end of the day, someone's going to win is Microsoft because they get the 70% of the cut. Sony gets the 30. So that's a win for Xbox, to be honest, though. Don't be scared, Louis. This is the future. Embrace Skynet. Yes, sir. We're going to embrace Skynet. We're going to make... Man, I'll be honest with you, chat. I want a Terminator. Because Sony gets more games. Huh. But why don't you think that Microsoft is going to get more games over there, too? Trying to understand that. Because if the next Xbox, right, like they're... For what we're seeing. I'm talking about, like, for what we're seeing. I'm not going to be the one saying, well, it's there because, I have not seen the new Xbox, right? So for the next Xbox... For what we're seeing how they're integrating, Steam and everything to it. They're seeing it's going to be a PC-like situation, right? So if this is a console going to be like a PC-like, they're going to have everything on the box. So either way, though, you guys say that we're not getting PlayStation games over there, right? The Sony fanboys said that. But at the end of the day, if Steam gets into Xbox, the next one, we are getting the games. So how is that a win? Because I'll tell you something, JC Denton, you guys might see that as a win, but at the end of the day, when you guys buy it, Microsoft gets 70, Sony gets 30. And if you're thinking the other way around, because these fans, think that 30% is even more than 70, then let's say the other way around. Microsoft gets the 30 and Sony gets the 70. So basically what I'm trying to say is either way, though, Microsoft gets the bigger profit. The winner is the guy who's going to get that. The winner is the guy or the company that gets more of the money. That's the winner. Just in case y'all did never figure that out, I'm just, teach you some stuff out there. And at the end of the day, though, that's why Sony started to port their games to PC to get that extra cash in. Xbox is a little different, maybe Game Pass, but why should I buy an Xbox? If I have a better much spec PC, why should you buy an Xbox? Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you got the money to buy yourself a PC, right? I'm being serious. I'm gonna talk in general, right? This is something that I always say, and you can ask the chat. I always say this, right? If you got the money to build yourself a PC, hell, don't buy a console. Build yourself a PC and sit there and enjoy your PC. You don't even have to get a PS5 for what? You don't have to get that either. I'm being serious. You don't have to get that either because listen, with PC having Steam having more games than both of these consoles put together, And I'm being serious. Steam has more games than both of these consoles put together. It's no joke, right? No joke. Then why should you get yourself a PS5 too? If you got the money to buy yourself a PC. Now, if you're like me and the rest of the chat here, and you're looking to defend this, because this is what's important. I defend this. This is what I defend. This is what I care for. The bigger it gets, the better it is for me in life. And that's the truth. If I have more money, it's better for me. That's how it is. I will get an Xbox. I'm being honest. I will get an Xbox. And the last option I will get is a PS5. That would be my last option because why would it be my last option? Because shit, I don't got the option to pay $20 a month Because I like most Sony exclusives. Well, okay, again, that's your choice. I'm not gonna make fun of you because you like Sony exclusives. That's cool on you. That's cool. If you like them, if you love them, if you grew up with that, that's cool, man. I mean, again, I'm not gonna diss you for that. That's how people. Some people are. They probably might like them, but at the end of the day, like I said, if you got the money to buy yourself a PC, pretty much what is it? 90% of the Sony exclusives have already gone to PC, and later on down the road, they will go on an Xbox. So yeah, PC will be the overall winner. By in the end, I don't. I think some things are changing because look, here's the thing though, and this is something I learned this gen, right? Because a lot of people like to force to you like the whole idea on the resolution, the frames, and all that stuff, right? When we got these consoles on the box, they told us it was going to be 4K 60. They told us. They told us. The PlayStation told us. Xbox told us. The magical SSD. The whole marketing scheme that we have a powerful 12 teraflop console. We're gonna get all this stuff to 4K 60. Man, we were there. Remember all these discussions we had in 2020 about that? We're in the middle of 2025. Where are they? Maybe next gen we'll finally get it. Please, Lord, I hope we do. But this generation, with the upscale gen. Some people went out there to buy a PS5 Pro, believing the PS5 Pro was going to be the magical thing, right? But me, I chilled out and said, wait a minute, I got to see the specs. When I saw the specs, and even though with all the specs, and even though with all that power, supposedly, are we getting 4K 60 games? Nope. Maybe one or two. Cool. But are we getting a total of 4K 60 games on all of them? No. So why am I going to spend $700 on that stuff when I'm playing upscale? Take a critical look at Xbox. Most tempo exclusives are either dead or MIA. Halo dead silently. JC last year they showed us, or was it this year? I don't know, but it was last year. This year they showed us Halo content. I don't know if you saw it, but okay. Are they dead? Halo Gears of War kind of ran its course. Forza Studio got shut down. Forza Studio now got shut down just yesterday or day before or 2 days ago. They showed us that they're putting even Indy cars in the Forza Motorsport Studio. So I don't know where you're getting your ideas from. Gears of War kind of ran its course. Gears of War got rebooted, which is a good thing. But if you're gonna come here with hate, man, that's not gonna be a good look because I mean, I like the discussion though, but now I'm seeing that you're adding stuff that is not true, and that is the problem. You cannot say stuff that is not true. For example, you guys say that Xbox canceled games, right? Now the console world misinformation. Yeah, because that's the thing. That's the problem that's going on out here. There's a lot of people misinforming. You gotta stop listening to these people. Not only that, I don't understand, guys. Listen, you have Google. Use Google. Google is everyone's best friend. It's not like back in the day where I had to wait a month to get a freaking magazine and all stuff. No, no, no. Now we have Google. Google literally, you say, what is an elephant? Google tells you right away what an elephant is. I don't have to get a damn dictionary. You guys have it there. Just look for the info. And stop listening to all this fanboy stuff because this fanboy stuff is bad for you all. King Web, what's up, King Web? How you doing, brother? Good morning to you, sir. So how can you say that Halo died silently when Halo's coming up? I mean, they even announced that in the Halo competition, they were announced something about Halo. How is that dead? But again, I don't blame you because I don't know who you follow. I don't know, man. But the people you follow, seriously, are straight up lying to you. They are. Or the stuff you read out there is straight lying to you. No joke. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you the Forza Motorsport tweet. Hold on. Let me go get it. I'm watching a tweet from Joey. That's why I'm laughing. Sorry, chat. Where the hell is Joey at? I wish Joey was this. Is Louis, let me in. Let's talk about Shawn Layden. So here we go. Let's see now. So 19 hours ago, I'll even show it to you. All right, I'll show it to you if you. I mean, I'll read it to him too if he needs me to read it. But here we go. So this is the tweet I was talking about 19 hours ago. Let me zoom in just in case. It says here, Peter Ward, a professional Indy car driver, is key player for Team Arrow McLaren. Considerably are skillfully driving the number 5 Chevrolet, having won the 2018 Indy Lights on 2017. IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Pedro has proven prowess on the track. Download this 5 livery for the Chevrolet IndyCar. They just poured content into motorsport 19 hours ago. August 7th, they came by and says, Dear Forza community, we know many of you have questions about what's next for the Forza franchise. We appreciate your support on our incredible community. Wanted to assure players that Turn 10 and Player Games will continue to support Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon. They're not dead. So I gotta know how you guys get misinformed by this stuff. Seriously. Oh, Lord. Come on, guys. Come on. I mean, then I'm not trying to make fun of you, man, but bro, stop listening to the hate. King Webb says, have you looked at all the big tech companies? They have massive layoffs before MS. Yeah, I take a look at that. I did take a look. Yeah, but not everyone is laying off their core devs for it. Bro, everybody's going AI. If you don't believe me, listen. Just type in Sony PlayStation AI for games, and you're going to see there's a full website of PlayStation talking about AI. You're going to see layoffs soon over there, too. Louis, do you have Netflix? Hey, Nick Cara, what's up? How you doing? Louis, do you have Netflix? If you do watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I know that character in BO7, Emma Keegan, look familiar. She plays Sabrina in the series. Korean shit. I'd have to watch it because I heard good stuff about Sabrina TV show. I heard that it changed. It got like a little bit too dark. IGN is lying now? Wait, you listen to IGN, Denton? Wow. There you go. Now we found out who misinforms, but okay. How are you? I am good, Nikata. I'm good. The thing is, Nikata, you need to understand I'm on two sides. I got Twitch on one side where you're on Twitch. I got YouTube on the other side. So I'm on YouTube and Twitch. So I'm reading on both sides. That's why. That's why when you see me respond on YouTube and also respond over here. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. So what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Make sure you subscribe, brother. Make sure you subscribe. But how you doing? How's your morning going? No, not AI in games. AI is a bit. Oh, okay, okay, all right. JC Denton, you're in the wrong chat if you're gonna bring IGN. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't trust IGN for quite some time. You're telling me a website that gave the Penguin the TV show a 6 and called it bad, which that was seriously top of the line. Those guys even won Emmys. That gave them a 6. You want me to trust those guys? Nah. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, then. Bad choice of picking on right there. Seriously. Mm. No, listen. I'm not picking on him for this. I'm not going to pick on him for this because at the end of the day, he's just listening to the wrong things. That's the problem, and that's the thing that's happening out there. These guys are misinformed. They don't go out there and speak the truth. I sit there and laugh. Taking a break. Let's go see what happened, chat. Something blew up. Hold up. I don't know, Nikata. I'm gonna check out right now what happened. Something blew up here. Yep. Well. There you go. I'm seeing it. Yep. Yeah, it's a transformer. Yeah, that happens. Yep. It was an electrical transformer. We're okay, guys. We're okay. It was just an electrical transformer that blew up. That's all. It's okay. Nothing happened. That thing happens a lot. Yeah, it's common here, Nicara. I live in Dominican Republic, so in Dominican Republic, this stuff happens like that. But it's okay. It was just an electrical transformer that blew up. No problem. It happens a lot because that's when power reaches at a point and those transformers blow up. Yeah, they got to go in and fix it. Let me see all these negative. Let's keep on going. Trust me, Nick. If there was something bad, I will be running. I'll say, "Hey, chat, I gotta run. Something terrible is happening out there, and I will run out of here." But no, no, no. It's not bad. It happens a lot. All these negative sites all these sites know that negative Xbox news gets clicks, engagement. That's what they want. He should say free to play is hurting the industry, but they don't want to have that conversation. Bumblebee blew up. It could be Bumblebee. Karma, what's the karma? Nothing bad happened to me. I'm good. What do you want? What kind of what do you mean by karma? Nothing happened to me. It's a transformer that way far away from me blew up. So since my buddy Broke Boy Lewis brought this into subject, let's talk about this. Shawn Layden works for effing Tencent and says consolidation in the gaming industry is bad when Microsoft and Xbox was acquiring ABK. All right, Nick, thank you for coming by, man. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to this. I don't know if there's a like button on here, but make sure you subscribe, man. Thank you for coming by. Hope to catch you later. Yep, that's how it is. So let's get into this chat. Let's get into the subject of Shawn Layden because, hey, I want to see what the man said. Oh, Lord. The man who literally got picked up by security. That's what David Jaffe said, and got taken out from PlayStation. Yeah. So let's get into it. Chat really quick, just in case the power goes out, hang out for a bit. Since we all know a transformer blew up, I don't know if they were going to have a power surge, go down. Just wait for a little bit, and I'll be back on as soon as the power comes back on. Just in case, chat, just warning you in case that happens. I hope it doesn't, but it's cool. So let's talk about this. All right. So we have this. The big picture, part one. I don't know if games are recession proof. Former Sony Worldwide Studios head Shawn Layden and analyst Matt Piscatella and Piers Harding Rose discuss the current issues facing the games industry. Let's do this chat. Let's get this on the road. Yes, baby. Yes. XBX, Lord of Chaos. He says, hey, what's up and good morning, Crazy, and the rest of the Xbox fan. And don't forget, stay blessed, don't stress, play Xbox everywhere. Let's go 100%. Where in the blue hell is Big B Money at? Where Big B Money at? It's the we need people for playing a long time and milk for microtransaction. Everyone is chasing that Fortnite money, 100%. PS is so great. Why aren't you over there playing games instead of being here? That's a good question. I mean, he's bringing out these negative talks. I don't know why he's so mad. Denton, I don't understand why you're so mad, man. But if you don't chill out, man, you don't understand. I got moderators on here that will, they're quick. I don't have to do nothing. They're pretty quick. Xbox games on PlayStation and PlayStation games on Xbox is say play the games on your preferred platform of choice. 100%. All right, Chad, let's get into this. So, let's dissect this article. Given the tumultuous changes in the game industry over the past few years, it's worth taking a moment to look at where we are and, more importantly, where we're headed. Can't believe it. I talk about this all the time, man. And now they're looking at it, which I'm happy though. But damn, it took y'all 5 years. But okay. In the first installment of this two-part feature, former Sony Worldwide Studios chairman Shawn Layden, Circana senior developer Matt Piscatella, and Ampere Analysis head of games research Piers Harding Rose offer some insights into the current status of the industry, beginning with the worry that the U.S. consumers are tightening their purse strings when it comes to video game purchases. Really? You guys are, again, now? Essentially, we have a quarter of video game players who are saying they're planning on spending less, driven by the number of factors, says Piscatella, referencing recent Circana report. And, hey, where's this guy at? Denton, sit there. You're going to learn a little bit today. So here you go. Average weekly spend in selective industry change year over year. This is the 18 to 24-year-olds and other group ages. Look at their spending, guys. I talked about this one, was it yesterday morning? Look at this. Look how less it is. 25% less. All right, let's keep on going. For the 4 weeks ending April 2025. But all right, leave him there. He's going to learn today. He knows that the trend is primarily down to increasing costs for things like food and housing that are causing people to look for savings, as well as the question mark surrounding U.S. tariffs. Wow! This is why, chat. Y'all know when I say this, chat. I'm flexing it. This is why I vote with this, and I seriously don't get into the fanboy narratives. I just don't. Layden agrees in America right now because of fears of recession, because of inflationary impacts, where there are tariffs on just current industry policy. Everyone's feeling like I shouldn't spend as much as I used to spend just to full stuff right across the board. So of course, gaming is going to be affected by that. Why don't you say that gaming is a hobby and it's not a thing for us to live by? Some people use it as an escape route, but it's not a thing to live by. But okay. Some of this turmoil in the international economy, as Piscatella, and in particular in the U.S. economy, has people feeling more uncertain, and uncertainty leads to a lot of people waiting on decisions, putting off big purchases. Good. Trying to better plan their finances. Yep, and that's what they're seeing right now in the data, 100%. In this case, we have double the amount of people saying that they're planning on spending less than are saying they're planning on spending more. That's a little bit of a red flag. And what are you guys going to do to change that? So, this has led Circana to predict a decline of around 4.7 for the US games market in 2025. Although Piscatella notes that in the current climate, these things can be challenging for forecasts. If we ended up plus 5%, I wouldn't be shocked. If we ended up minus 10%, I wouldn't be surprised. There's so much uncertainty. Non recession proof after all. In a previous global downturns like in 2008, games earned a reputation for being recession proof. This is because wherever consumers trying to cut back on other forms of entertainment of times of financial turmoil, like eating or going to the cinema, they mostly maintain their spending on games, which we're seeing as offering good value for money in terms of hours of enjoyment. But given Circana's recent reporting to consumer spending plans, doesn't appear to be the case anymore. I don't know if games are recession proof, says Piscatella. I think play is a recession proof. I think play is a recession proof, but the business models, I don't know if they're be recession proof, especially this time around. We're going to have to find out. In short, given the wide availability of low cost subscription services and free to play games, we may be in a situation where consumers don't feel that they have to spend money on games when times are hard. The market sounds completely different when the last major recession happened, says Harding Rose. There's so much free content out there. People don't necessarily have to spend in game or buy premium games. Free to play games are a very effective way of spending your time without spending a lot of money. The whole idea of recession proof is a bit misnomer. Did I say it right? I think previously it was predominantly premium games. Things have changed a lot since then. All of these guys understand that. I mean, look, it's kind of funny. They still have not hit to the point where I want to see that they are so confused with the times about us. For example, I'm 41 years old and I'm growing. I keep on growing. A lot of us are old guys that used to live in that era that used to love to go out there, go to stores, purchase games, stuff like that. We used to love to do all that stuff. But nowadays, right? We grew up, we started to have a family, we started to have kids, we started to have a home. And hell, between home, kids, groceries, family, and all this stuff, time has wind down. That is something you guys don't understand. And so if you have a kid, your kids are going to take over your consoles. And your time of gaming, like for example, right now, since I don't have kids, right? Right now, I game 3 to 4 hours at night, tops, because during the day I'm busy. I gotta go to work. I gotta do an errand. I gotta jump over here. I gotta land over there. I got a lot of things to do. That's what you gotta do. And when I get home around 6, 7, 8 p.m., right? Those times, that's for the time, I sit here, eat some food, relax, watch a little movie, whatever. Then I go on and play the video game for like 3 hours. And then after that, go to bed. It wasn't like me when I was back in the day. I had much more energy, much more stuff to sit there and say, okay, let me go long hours. Let me go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up at 6. Nowadays, if I go to bed at 3 a.m., wake up at 6, I'm dead for 3 days. But yeah, we are getting older. And that's another thing that's you guys are going to see even more, that we are playing even less games too. But all right, the whole idea of recession proof is a bit misdemeanor. I think as previously it was. Okay. Additionally, looking at the wider picture, there is a clear indication that the video game market is now maturing after years of rapid growth. There were signs of this back in 2019 when shares in game companies were being sold off on en masse. On a Bloomberg report predicted imminent decline. But the COVID-19 pandemic saw the forecast upended as millions of people stuck at home in lockdown turned in video games to stave off boredom, which is true. That's why all these guys went out there and purchased all these companies. Yeah, just James, you can game on weekends, but if, like, for example, if you got a big family like I do, right? If you got a big family like I do, like, for example, last weekend, what did I do? On Saturday, I know I did something. What did I do on Saturday night? I had to do something, or was it a Friday night? I had to do something on Friday night. Saturday, I had also to go do something. But again, it all depends on what you got. Like, for example, look at Tuesday. Tuesday, I wasn't here. I had to go to a birthday, an important birthday I had to go to on Tuesday. So I had to go out of town. That's how life is. That's how life is. Sometimes shit happens. And in the weekends, seriously lately, like I haven't had that much time, to sit down and play games because my wife comes on Fridays, she leaves on Tuesdays, and so when she comes on Fridays, I chill out with her till Tuesday. Just I know my family, my free time comes first. Oh Lord, that's not a good thing, Jesse James. You gotta pay attention to family. Because the day you get sick, those are the ones who are gonna save you, man. However, the most of that influx of players didn't stick around once lockdowns had lifted. Of course, why would they stick around? Good thing they go. What I mean, bro, look, this is the thing. You like, for example, what happened to me these days. I'm playing Expedition 33. I want to finish it. I want to get it done. I'm at the final part of Expedition 33, but damn it, it's kind of hard for me to go back to because it got to a point where my head got. So what did I do? I took a break from these story games, and now I'm playing a little bit of multiplayer games, but I'm not paying that much attention to them because I need to take a break. It's been so many times that I play games for so long that my head said, Louis, you need to take a break. Take a break from this gaming, go outside, go out. Like, for example, tonight I'm going out, with the motorcycle guys, have a good conversation, get out of the house. You got to start doing that. Sometimes that happens to you. And it's okay. There's no problem with that. You don't have to be that guy to say, well, I finished it. I'm first. I finished it. No. Sorry, you don't have to be that guy anymore. So let's keep going. The auction audience is about 10% smaller than it was at peak, says Harding Rose. Although the notes that many of those fair weather gamers weren't heavy spenders because they didn't have money during COVID, but okay. Piscatella said that 2021 remains the high point in terms of the U.S. game market. If you look at the comparison spending between now and 2021, it's been absolutely amazing stable. We went from go-to-market to mature market overnight. The difference now is where people are spending their money. We have much more prevalence of the mobile space, of the free-to-play space, and a de-emphasization of the console space, says Piscatella. Especially when you look at a younger and less affluent consumer, they are choosing to go towards easily accessible games on devices that they already own. That's why, chat, Microsoft evolved this. This is why they evolved this, chat. I mean, it's simple and easy. That's why they went out there and evolved this sucker. Because they said, hey, let's get them to go in these devices, like, for example, for mobile phones, because mobile is a must. Nowadays, you can't go out there without a mobile. It's a must. People need it for a must. That's why they're putting it over there. That's why they're putting on handhelds. That's why they're putting it pretty much everywhere, tablets and all this stuff. David says Jesse James Toretto will be disappointed. It's all about the family. Damn. Oh Lord, oh Lord. The double-edged sword free to play. Good. Let's see. There's an argument that free to play games have devalued video games overall, making them seem like something consumers don't necessarily have to spend money on, especially in times of financial hardship. But Harding Rose points out that they've also been key driver of success. If everything had stayed pay to play at premium rate, you wouldn't have the size of the audience and the scale of the market. That is true. He says in-game monetization is worth 77% of the total market. Holy shit. If we didn't have free content that would do the market looks alike, it would look like probably a quarter of the size it is now. Realistically, I mean, it might have grown a bit, but nothing like almost 200 billion in spending. Chat, do you all remember the other day I did an analysis, but it was a different analysis though. But I did an analysis, chat. Remember, I think it was yesterday or the day before that I said, well, PlayStation 5 has sold 80 million consoles. But I even put a theory number. I said, but let's say this is a theory number. I don't know if you guys remember this conversation. I said, wow, that 80% of those gamers are not buying these exclusives. This is the data I'm making up, right? I said, let's throw a theory. And the theory number was that 80% of these gamers are not buying these exclusives or are not buying games. What they're doing is playing all these live service games or free to play games. And look at this shit. 77% of the total market. That's big, bro. That's huge. When they mean by the total market, they mean PC and all the devices. That's huge, guys. Oh my God. The trouble, perhaps, is that much of the spending is focused on a relatively small number of titles. Pescatella points out the behemoths like Fortnite, Roblox, and Call of Duty are amazing at funneling in players and keeping there with social hooks. And because the players have invested too much time into the games, these games now become the default. This is the video game. This is the video game for that audience, and so they're locked in, right? At the same time, he notes there's been exceptional growth in the number of new releases, and if you look all in at game spending, it's been flat the last several years. Oh Lord! Let's read this again, chat. At the same time, he knows there's been exponential growth in the number of new releases. And if you look all in at game spending, it's been flat for the last several years as more and more games get released. Then the math tells you that the average game is making less than it was a few years ago. And on top of that, the concentration of those revenues is being allocated more towards the biggest of the big, the Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, Grand Theft Autos of the world. So if you do all that math, then you will say, oh boy, the crunch is very real. Yet at the same time, the consumers are increasingly gravitating towards titles that are free at the point of entry. There's also been a somewhat contradictory push to raise premium game prices to 80, notably with Mario Kart World. The upfront price is such a barrier to get people to even try a game, says Piscatella. Because why am I going to spend $80 for this game when Fortnite is here? I can just log in and everyone is there and all my stuff is there. That's why I refer to those games as the black hole games, because they suck all the time and money out of the market. Let me see if my man is still here. Let me see. Hold on. Because Den's still here. Den, I hope you're learning, Den. I'm reading this and I hope you're learning. This is not Crazy Lou speaking. This is analysis speaking like Matt Piscatella, and he's telling you right in your face what's going on. But all right. The dilemma of $80 games. It's a strange competitive dissonance, says Layden, of the way the generation has been shown they don't need to spend money on games at the same time as publishers are saying games should be more expensive. He points out that the retail price of premium games has remained stubbornly consistent over the past 20 or so years, despite the twin factors of inflation and exponentially rising development costs. I think it's because everyone's afraid, he says. No one wants to be the first one to raise the price because you're afraid to lose traffic. So what you do is you just end up eating into your operating income, your profit margin. There were more sports cars in the parking lot in the PS1 era than there were in the PS4 era because of if you're selling 20 million units at 60 for something that only cost you 10 million to make, that's different selling than 20 million units for at 60 for something that cost you 160 millions to make. Chat, we had talked about this manyth of a time. And Denton, since you're here, you listening to this, Denton? Because hey, like I said, I hope you learn. Look what Layden is saying. Back in the day, it cost you 20 million to make a game, you made money. Or let's say it cost you 10 million to make, you made money. Nowadays, if you sell 20 million units at the price of 60, how much you getting? Cost you 160 million to make. It's that simple. This is why I talk about this stuff here every day and I try to educate people on what's going out there with gaming because I read, I sit there and I read, I Google. I enjoy reading all this stuff and talking the business side because people like to throw lies out there. IGN lies to you. And I heard you mention Windows Central, and trust me, in Windows Central, there's been so many articles that I have bashed on here on this show without any problem. I have bashed them for it. But hey, let's keep going. In hindsight, Layden says the price of games should have been bumped up gradually with every generation. Instead, the industry has thrown everything at the growth, and sorry about that, chat, that I sneezed, has thrown everything at growth, thinking that as long as we grow, even though we're not making money, somehow we can't die. Wow. But now we're on a tripping point. He thinks the cost of construction is just way too high. If you're going to spend over 200 million to build a game, your margins are super tight. Unless you can expect to sell 25 million units, unless you're Rockstar, you should not expect to sell 25 million units. Industry leaders have been trying to compensate for the exorbitant, did I say that? Rise in game development costs in other ways. They said, okay, if we maintain the price and then we nickel and dime you with a DLC microtransaction, battle pass, season pass, whatever you want to call it, and try to make the excess there. Make up the excess there. Sorry. At the same time, there's been an emphasis on deluxe edition of games that can easily cost 100 or more, pumped up with extra skins and weapons that entail almost a zero cost for the publishers, Layden. So they have been kind of moving the medium price point up anyway. But the shift towards making $80 games the standard price of premium games has already met with fierce feedback from players. Of course, why there's been a huge feedback? Because shit, it's expensive now. And this is a hobby. And it's getting more and more expensive. And people are going to try to look for more solutions. And right now, the best solution, what is it, chat? You guys know what it is. Simple and easy. What is it, chat? Y'all know where I'm going with this. I'm waving it. Why spend 80 when I can spend 20 and play it on there? Good question, huh? Notably, Microsoft walked back in its decision to charge $80 for The Outer Worlds 2, which would have been the first Xbox game to debut at the new price point. Clearly, there's a potential that the top of the end of the market could be diminished by setting higher prices, with fewer players wanting to stump up the cash. Duh. I mean, it's right here. We were talking about the free-to-play games. And like you said, why am I going to spend $80 when I have Fortnite here? I have my friends on Fortnite. And why am I going to spend it when I have everything in here? And I'm playing a game. Simple and easy. All right, let's keep going. So, notably, Microsoft walked away, charge 80, which would have been the first Xbox game. No price point. Clearly, there's a potential that the top of the market could be diminished by setting higher price. Okay. I think that shrinks the top of the end of the market, and it's not the price point. Counters Harding rows. It's more actual cost of development content. The sheer expense of AAA development, maintaining teams numbering in their hundreds, or even over 1,000 means not only that it's just a handful of companies can compete up at this level, but also the innovation will necessarily drain away from the higher end of games as far as becomes even more risk averse. Of course. So the consumer is not necessarily getting exposed to the most dynamic and interesting development in the game space, he says. Layden agrees. I think it's going to be harder for innovation to occur at the price point because when you get to that kind of cost, 200 million, 250 million to make a game, in most studios, risk tolerance goes to zero. Good stuff. Until now, it's good stuff. As such, anything targeting the $80 price bracket is likely to either be a sequel or something that's similar to another game that sold well, a comparable. Sadly, anyone who's trying to break a new IP at that price point at the cost points, I mean, I'm not saying it can be done, but are a lot of long, hard nights during that development cycle. If you're trying to push out that new IP at 200 million into the price point, that's called working without a net. Whatever happens, it feels like the higher end of the market will inevitably get higher still, or at least attempt to. Piscatella compares it with the whole gamepad market, has evolved from a space that sold a wide range of affordable pads to one that almost entirely centered around the deluxe and extremely expensive devices. They started to realizing that console consumers is getting older and more affluent, he says. Thank God they're talking about this. I'm happy. They're starting to put they're starting putting out higher price game pads, more premium game pads, and now these are the devices that are leading the market. It's similar thinking when it comes to $80 games because it explains we have an audience that is not growing on the console side. We have an average console buyer that is older and more affluent than 5 years ago. Thank you. Thank you. They'll still pay it, and then the rest of the audience would eventually get there through either discounting or promotional overtime. So it's going to work for the big games. For the games that are successful, it's going to work well. He knows that expensive deluxe edition of games already perform at Mario launch in comparison with standard editions. The version of those games that will sell better are higher price versions because they have a less price sensitive consumer there on day one. And the games that don't, you drop the price quickly, your price promote quickly, but at least capture some of those prices and sensitive consumers at launch. G maybe. What's up, G maybe? How you doing, brother? Man, I haven't seen you in a while. It's just more sports cars in the parking lot. Talk about living in a different world from the rest of us. Yeah, man. I mean, I got a sports bike, but damn, that's all I have, a sports bike. But damn. But chat, listen, I'm loving this article. This article is just punching everything in the gut. This is a good article, to be honest. This is a good article. I can't wait to get to the part where Layden talks about Game Pass. But this is awesome. This is awesome. Reading all this stuff on how these big guys are debating on what's happening. And chat, you all know I've been talking about this for many months. I've been talking about this for quite some time. And I'm glad that everything I talk about, I am nailing it right away. Good stuff. But 80 games are only part of the story. Across the high, mid, low ranges, pricing has become far more dynamic. I think that's what we're seeing is more diversity on launch pricing and promotional strategy post-launch than we've ever seen before, says Piscatella. We're seeing games being released at all ends of the spectrum when it comes to pricing, and folks are going to charge for their game and what they think they can most get away with. Some games you look at and go, what are you thinking? Because internally they're convinced themselves that we have a secret sauce and it's going to be the biggest game in the world, or because their financial plan demands that they have a big revenue day one, even though everyone on the team might know that's a little bit of a pipe dream. He reckons this pattern diverse of pricing will continue. I think we're going to see a lot of experimentation, he says. Everyone kinds of devils and tries to figure it out. And then it gets optimized into oblivion, like we see on Steam summer sales now. We're used to be the Wild West of discounting and pricing all over the board. Now you pretty much know that you're going to get every summer when that sale comes around, which is true. People wait for that. Piscatella continues, and not only that, why do people wait for this? I'll explain to you why. Why do people wait for this? Because nowadays, games get released, right? They're not fully optimized. So what do? We wait till they optimize it, and hey, we see it on a sale. We say, let's pick it up now. But before we pick it up, of course, like I said, we use Google, we search for stuff, and we see if the game actually got patched up and got to it to be working better. We're doing that nowadays. At the beginning of the Genesis, you mentioned that because I say that's something that you guys are mentioning right now about how games were released very unoptimized, right? Because that's another thing that really got consumers away from purchasing day one. What do? They go back and they say, okay, let me see. Wait for the game to release. Oh, it released? Okay, let me see what this guy said about the resolution. Let me see how this game is running on the frames. Let me see if it's not broken. Let me see all this stuff. And once they see that, you know what they do? They say, I'll wait till they patch it up, or else they say, okay, I'll buy it. And this is why I'm loving my Game Pass. Another reason why I love it. But all right. Piscatella continues, there is a lot of bias-based pricing analysts that goes into launch pricing these days. Of course, there's a lot of very smart people doing it with all kinds of charts and graphs, but because of volatility, because there's so many different ways of going about it, a lot of the times it boils down to, I don't know if this feels like a $50 game, then it feels like a $70 game. Good, he's speaking what I just spoke of, which isn't the best way to do it, but that's the way it's still done a lot of the times. To confuse things even further, we now have subscription. Let's see, this is the part where I love this. Models that completely upend traditional ideas of pricing and contribute to the idea among the general public that games should cost hardly anything at all. I'm not a big supporter of the Netflix of gaming idea, says Layden. I think it is a danger. Wow, this is the example you use? I mean, look what happened to the music. To music. In popular mind, music costs nothing. Music should be free. Spotify, what is that? It's a 15 bucks a month or something, but virtually no one buys music anymore. You know what this shows you, chat? This clearly shows you this man doesn't even know what he's talking about. The one silver lining, he says, that music artists have an adjacent market in the form of touring, allowing them to rely more heavily on ticket sales and merchandise as key revenue stream. But yes, this is I can't believe he used Spotify as an example. Layden, let me tell you something, bro. I don't know why you're so scared to be up with the times. But I gotta say something, and to be honest, I'm happy that Spotify exists because with Spotify, I can build a library of songs that I loved. I don't have to go out there buy a CD for that one song. One song. For that one song. I mean, I don't know, chat, if you guys agree with me with that, but hell, buying a CD, which costs $15 to $20 just to listen to one song, because the rest you didn't like it. Then you try to listen to the other ones. You're like, I don't like the other ones. I like this just one song. That's crazy. I mean, I'm happy that Spotify came out. Ugh. But all right, let's keep going. Sounds like fear. Yeah, sounds like fear. Or that it just doesn't want to get up with the times, right? So let's keep reading. Beep, beep, money. Beep, money in the building. All right. So the problem with gaming is all we have is launch. That's it. No one wants to pay money to come into the studio and watch people code. All of this is why he thinks that putting in subscription service on day one is bad for business. No less so than Strauss Zelnick himself, he has said GTA is never going on subscription service day one. Later points out he acknowledges that the situation might be different for indie developers who crave discovery above all else. But for AAA games, he questions the idea of launching day one subscription service like Xbox Game Pass. Now that idea is out there, however, it's difficult to go back. You can't unring the bell, right? But beyond the financial wisdom of making new games available for free at launch, Layden worries about the change in ethos behind it. There's a lot of debates going on. Is Game Pass powerful? Is Game Pass not profitable? What does that mean? That's really not the right question to ask anyway. Thank God. You can do all kinds of financial jiggery pokery for any sort of corporate service of the make it look profitable if you wanted to. You take enough costs out and says that's off the balance and sheet. Oh, look, it's profitable now. The real issue for me on things like Game Pass is it healthy for the developer? Why wouldn't it be healthy? Under the subscription model, developer essentially becomes a wage slave, he argues. Wow. They're not creating value, putting it in the marketplace, hoping it explodes, and profit sharing and overages. And all that nice stuff. It's just you pay me X dollars an hour, I bought you a game. Here, go put it out, uh, go put it on your servers. I don't think it's really inspiring for game developers. Part two to follow. Okay, I guess there's no part two yet, but we'll have to wait. So I guess this discussion will continue. So, Aiden, I got a question for you. When the PS5 came out, they said that we're not making any profit. What did they do to get the PS5 to make profit? What did they do? Didn't they start to shrink some stuff inside the console so they can just start making profit? Didn't they change the quality of the heat sink, made it smaller? I'm not saying it's bad quality, but they made it smaller. Didn't they do that? And didn't they just keep on going to look for ways to get profits? I mean, every company does that. I don't understand why you got to slam Xbox for doing that when everybody does this. And I use that as an example, not comparing, because I know it's a service comparing to hardware. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is they've figured out a way to make profit on this console, and Xbox figured out a way to make profit in Game Pass. Now, for developers, here comes the conversation for developers, right? And I'm gonna say this right here. I'll be honest. What is something, Chad, I have said so many times about this, about how games should be these days. And here's the thing, though, Layden, and you guys did not touch into subject. How many open world games are out there? How many? And I mean, how many are Souls-like games out there? How many of those games are out there? Because the thing is, you guys are so stuck up to the idea in making these big ass games to get people to go ahead and buy and say, well, those $60, $70, $80 that I paid for were actually worth it. Why don't we do something even more special? Why don't we do this? Why don't we sit down, talk to the devs and say, hey, devs, listen, why don't you all grab, right? Why don't you all grab and do a spin-off or do something that's 15 hours, 20 hours long and put it at a price of 50 so people can go ahead and purchase it and enjoy it, a good story. Split Fiction, for example. Look how beautiful Split Fiction is. Split Fiction is actually is it Split Fiction? Did I say it right? Hold on. Let me see if I'm talking about the right game real quick. Split Fiction. Yeah, Split Fiction. It's not a very long game. Let me see. Allowed to be total 15 hours. It's not a very long game, and people are enjoying it, and they gladly paid the 50, and that thing sold like crazy. Another example, right, that y'all can do to rack up some money, right? Release, do. For example, like Power did, they released this game. They released this game after they released this game, right? They were charging you $30. They still haven't gone full beta, but they were charging $40. And that thing sold like crazy. I mean, you got 25 million people buying this damn game. 25 million, even though it's an open world, but it's a fun, engaging open world because that's another one. You guys got these open world games being built, but they're not as engaging as a GTA is and all this stuff. Like I said, y'all need to chill down with these open world games. Y'all need to chill down with all this stuff. I mean, seriously, start making a couple games that are fun. 15, tops 20-hour games for a good price for people to buy, especially now with the market the way it is. The market right now is oversaturated with all these big ass open world games, with this overpricing too, because games are overpriced. For me, I found them expensive, even though for you guys, like you said, development costs a lot. but they are still expensive. And right now, a person sits there and says, "Well, if I got to spend $80 on a game, what?" Okay, it's like what I do here at home. I sit here and I say, "Okay, electricity. My electricity is not balanced. Like for example, my electricity 3 months ago, right, was at 4,000 pesos. 4,000 pesos. It was there. Now in summertime, it increased to 5,500. That's 1,500 pesos extra. Eggs, supermarket, for example. Me, I live alone. I gotta tell you, Chad, I started to buy when I moved over here, right? I went to the supermarket. It went for 4,000 pesos. Then it increased to 5,000 pesos. And now it's at 7,000 pesos for food. For food. This is how things are increasing. Eggs, for example. Eggs, for example. Eggs are expensive too over there in the States. $12 a carton of eggs? Holy shit, that's a lot of money. But again, you guys have not changed the whole gaming idea. What you guys have happened here is you guys have increased your gaming development prices. And since you guys are increased your gaming development prices, you guys have gone nuts by also increasing these prices. And by doing this or so, especially in a time that people are not right now spending their money on games or spending their money on their hobbies because they're saving money with the situation that they are in. Some people have lost jobs. The job market is going insane out there. Now we got AI replacing even employees, like we saw with all these major companies laying off a bunch of people for AI stuff. I mean, bro, it's a tough market right now and it's going to get worse. And I've talked about this so many times where the industry is going and is the industry in trouble. While PlayStation fans celebrate that they sold all these consoles, right? That's all they do to celebrate all this stuff, but they're not seeing the main issue. They're not. They're not seeing it. They don't look at themselves and say, "Oh shit, let me see this." For example, look at PlayStation. PlayStation canceled a lot of live service games. Why didn't they take the risk, chat? Because they were afraid to see this thing go down and go behind and not come out and do well. They were scared. They were not willing to take that risk. They rather pull away, lose that money, than lose more money by putting the game out there. That's what they did. For example, you got a Twisted Metal TV series. It would have been great for a Twisted Metal game to be out. But the question is, would it have been great? We don't know. We don't know. For example, look at Fallout the TV series. Why did Fallout sell a lot? Because Fallout was only for $20. Microsoft even updated the damn game for free. They didn't charge no one $10. That's another one. They didn't charge no one $10, and they kept the game at 20. They were like, "Well, the series is popular. Let me increase the price." Look how much it sold. I mean, Fallout was kicking ass out there at the price it was. They didn't even increase it, and that was a good thing because people saw this and said, "Oh man, I want to play Fallout. Let me go ahead and buy it." Whoop. It was on top 10 for months. Good thing they did that. Remakes like Oblivion, which is a good remake. I mean, make a good remake too, or make a good remaster. Sorry, remake is a remaster. I keep forgetting it's a remaster. I always see like a remake, but it's a remaster. Sorry, but that game also sold like crazy. Games that are worth to be remastered. And man, while these guys cheer for all that stuff, they still do not look deep inside of how the business is. And right now, like I said, the industry is in trouble. You got studio layoffs. You got games being canceled. I've said this once and again and again and again because people are not spending the money. They're not. What they're doing is, or they're buying that one game they play, which is a Call of Duty, or they're buying, or they're downloading that one game they play. This a Fortnite, or like we see Roblox, because you're seeing this every month. I mean, bro, you see Fortnite up there, you see Roblox, you see Minecraft. Three big effing kid titles. Those are kid titles, basically. Fortnite is basically for kids. How do we know it's for kids? There's no blood, even though there's guns, that kind of violence, right? But there's no blood. It's a fun kit that you build stuff, you do things. Fortnite is on top, and it's usually number one on top of the list. Usually it is. Then you got your sports games That people literally just sit there and just play NBA, they play FIFA, they play Madden. They don't play anything else but the sports games. And then you got your Call of Duties and your GTA, your Marvel Rivals and stuff like that, and that's it. But then the rest of the time, like I said, the three effing big games are freaking kid games. What does that tell you? The consumer nowadays are our sons, our nephews that are playing on these consoles. That's what it tells you. They're not, have not gotten to that day and age where they can buy games. And trust me, when they get to that day and age to buy games, they're not going to be playing these games. They're not. They'll be playing something different. And that's the problem. What you guys need to do nowadays is or look for a way to appeal this younger generation to hop on. Like, for example, to get them to play these games, you got to come up with a service like GamePass. That's why PlayStation Plus is looking good these past 3 months. It's interesting how PlayStation Plus all of a sudden just started to look good. I mean, right now it's like, hey, I want to subscribe to it because I'm starting to see it looks good. That's how it is. And this is an alternative for them to make money as a company. And there's no problem with having a service. What is the problem with having a service? What is the problem of having this option out there? Because let me tell you something. It's hard, it's expensive to keep these servers up and it's expensive to get these consoles up. But if you have a good service where people can sub, download the games and have fun, trust me, they will sub and have fun and download the game. And not only that, if they see part two, that might intrigue them to go ahead and buy a part two or part three or part four. That's what this does. The market has changed, man. If you guys have not seen how changes have been made, y'all need to wake up soon because it has changed. Sony's copying MS at every turn. That they would do a PS Plus day and date if they could afford it. Of course. Because here's what's funny: if Sony would have done it, everybody would have appraised Sony for doing it. But since this is Microsoft, let's not appraise this. Let's go ahead and slander it. Let's go ahead and destroy it. I don't like the idea because listen, when I sit here and I look at these services, there's not much of a difference. There's not much of a difference. The difference is that one puts their games they want on there and sometimes puts third party on there. But we've seen Sony even put third party games they want on there, even though if it's an indie or something like that. But at least it's a third party game that is dropping in there. Safo, good morning to you, girl. What's up, Safo? What do you say? Okay, Safo, what are your tasting games nowadays? Because that's another one. Our tasting games have changed too. Yeah. Majority of people are wage slaves. That's the system we live in. You want me to feel bad for people in one industry? Sorry, Sean. Go play your violin somewhere else. The thing is, I don't understand why does he always have to sign a Game Pass. He's saying that Game Pass is a bad thing. King, what's up? He says Sony sold all consoles at a loss. No, they sold 10 million consoles. I think it was the first 10 million consoles they sold at a loss, and then they figured out a way to get profit with the console. They did that a year later, pretty much. The info's out there. All you got to do is look for it. It's out there. When it's a game, question the profitability, laugh out loud. Yeah, but when it's Xbox, they question the profitability. It's always like that because I don't understand why do they got to question that. And listen to this, because there's something out there that nobody acknowledged and talked about positive. Xbox was at 15 million for quite a while. And then it went up to, what was it, 18, then 21. Now it's at, what, 23? It's growing. It's not declining. It keeps on growing and growing and growing and growing. It keeps on growing. When Sony saw that, they got scared. Sony said, wait a minute, hold up. We're scared because we're seeing Xbox just growing and growing and growing. Now we got to start changing because Xbox is going to catch up to us soon. Because that's the part these fanboys don't see. That Microsoft doesn't need to sell consoles to grow. It's showing you that with their software, it's kicking ass. Sony said, wait a minute. Hold up. They're catching up. What are we going to do? They're going to become the number one gaming pretty soon. They're catching up Because that's the part they don't see. And that's what these fanboys also don't see because they're cheering for the wrong area. They're cheering for the 80 million console sales. They're not cheering for how the company keeps on growing. That's what you got to cheer for. What do you think we get happy when we see those numbers get back? What do you think we cheer for them? What do we think we're happy that we see that their strategy is growing, that their money is growing? That's what we see. That's where the growth is. I mean, what's more important, 80 million or 36 billion? 80 billion on a hardware that we're making 20 bucks or 15 bucks on, or the 36 billion that we're making over here on software and other stuff. I would look at the 36 billion and the $20 I'm making on a console for 80 billion. I would look at that even more. That's the part y'all don't see. So that's why I sit here all the time trying to educate everyone when it comes down to this, to stop listening to those lies. But hey, kind of funny. Layden again slandered Xbox. Sony going multi-platform is to match MS so they can't go too far ahead. Yeah. They got to do it. That's why they did it in 2020 because they saw that Microsoft was growing. That's why in 2020 they became a multi-platform company. The thing is, it took the fanboys 5 years. It took the media 5 years to say they have gone multi-platform. It took them that long because the games are landing on Xbox. That's why. But no. PC, no. They have lied to y'all by saying that PC is not a competitor. They have lied to y'all for that. Even Xbox, even though we see it as a linked thing, right? We see that everything is linked up. That's how it works. But at the end of the day, the hardware on Xbox competes against PC hardware. Believe it or not, it does. This is why Xbox Next Gen decided to say, hey, if the next console comes out, we're going to build like a PC hybrid type of thing because we got to get with our PC hardware side of things. They kind of have to because everything is linked up. But yeah, chat, PC competes. How do I know? Here, I'll give you a prime example. Hold on, let me bring this up. Yes, sir, let me bring this up. Chat, look at my question to Google. Does PC gaming compete against consoles? Yes, PC gaming and console gaming compete with each other, but they also coexist and appeal to different types of gamers. While PC gaming has seen significant growth in recent years, particularly in content spending, consoles remain a popular choice due to the lower cost and ease of use. There you go. They're talking about the advantages. And talking about the advantages of this. And this used to be a focus. Now it's not. Competition coexistence, right? Cross-platform play. Many games are now available on both PC, consoles with cross-platform. Did I switch screen? Okay, I did switch the screen. Okay. All right, with cross-platform play become increasingly common, both PC and console gaming markets are constantly evolving, with new hardware and software releases influencing players' preference, different users' needs. The choice between PC and console often comes down to individual preference, budget, and desired gaming experience. Conclusion: while PC gaming has made significant strides, both PC and console gaming offer unique advantages and cater to different types of gamers. Ultimately, the better platform depends on individual priorities and preferences. But it's a competitor. And it does compete against these consoles. Even against the Xbox, even though everything is linked up, it does compete when it comes down to hardware sales, chat. Just so you all know that. When it comes down to hardware sales, it does compete against the box. Now, when it comes to hardware sales, everything is all linked up. Ray says Game Pass has people crazy over its dominance. Of course, it does have people crazy. It does. It does. Why does it have? Because you know what? Here's the thing, though. They want to the thing is, chat, people want us to adjust to one thing because they want to make that money. That's why. And not only that, Layden works for Tencent. And Layden, of course, he releases games like. You know which one it is, right? Let's see, chat. Let's see if you all know where I'm going with this one. You're all going to love this one. Where am I going with this one? What was the game last year that sold a ton of copies? That sold a ton of copies, and it was only on PlayStation and PC, and had everyone guessing that it was the Series S or that Sony had a shady deal. What was that game? Chat, you go ahead and tell the crazy. What was that game? Go ahead. What was that game, chat? Let's see if chat knows what game is that. Because let me tell you something, chat. It's going to get interesting after that. Because I'm going to come in with a bang after that, right? What was that game, chat, that released last year? I'll ask again. And they said it wasn't released on the Xbox because supposedly it was a Series S issue, or it was a shady Sony thing, Sony deal. Which was that game, chat? Kind of wonder which one it was. And now it's releasing this year, pretty much a year later, on the same date it was released. And we're getting close to it. Let's see chat's going to say it. Because I wonder if chat knows. I wonder if chat knows which game I'm talking about. I know they do know. Let's see, chat. Bring it up to table. Go ahead. What was that game, chat? Bring it. There you go. G maybe just brought it. Black Myth Wukong. Yes, sir. So Black Myth Wukong was that game. And chat, let me tell you something, chat. Look at this. Let me show you, chat, who is the company that has money invested into this game. Kapow! Look what it says right here. After GameSide released a trailer for Black Myth Wukong on August 2020, Tencent quickly reached out, and by March 21, it's announced an investment in game science. And who works for Tencent? Phil? Sarah? Jim Ryan? The Beatles? The Beach Boys? Who works in Tencent, chat? Metallica? I don't know, chat. Our buddy right here. This is the man right here. Let me show you all a picture. Hold on. Here you go, chat. Here you go. Here comes another kapow moment again. And look who's working over there. Shawn Layden currently works as an independent consulting advisor for companies, including Tencent and Streamline Media Group. He works with Tencent. Oh, we gotta love this, chat. We gotta love this. We gotta love this. That's why he wants to keep this business going. That's why. That's why he says he doesn't believe in the service thing. This is why he says all that stuff. Because, hey, he's trying to sell his games. He's trying to sell, the games that are released. But the thing is, Shawn, if you don't get up with the times, you're going to look real old out here because, hey, it's pumping. These consumers are not joking. These consumers are saying, hey, we're saving money. And it's the majority that are doing it now. Because here's the funny thing, right? Chat, here's what's funny. That when you look at every month on Circana, what is everyone playing? So basically, they bought this console, and this is the funny thing, right? The guys that are out there talking about resolution, talking about frames, and thinking that's a win-win, the majority of these gamers don't care about that. They don't. Because look, simple and easy. Let's go to Blue Sky. Man, I forgot to even post a show on Blue Sky today. Let me post that real quick and say I'm still live. Oh man, I almost gotta jump off too. But let's go find Matt Piscatella here in Blue Sky so I can show you guys this real quick. G Baby says, Louis, you need to tell your neighbors to dust off their PS5 before trying to play Hellblade 2. They want the Transformer blow up. Hey, PS5 blows, good morning. What's up, man? Sin, good morning to you, sir. But look at this. Hold on. Let me go find Matt Piscatella. I have him on here. He posts all the time, and I'm really following him close by because I like all his data recently. I mean, I like looking at his data. He's seriously, on the dot and talking things the way they should. But look at this, chat. Here you go. On screen, show it to you right now. Look at this. Hold on, let me go over here. Okay. Let me get this real quick and share the screen again. Look right here, chat. Top 15 plays ranked by total weekly active users week enduring July 26, 2025. Number 1 is Call of Duty. Number 2, Fortnite. Number 3, Roblox. On both sides, this is Xbox and this. Number 4 is NBA 2K25 and Grand Theft Auto 5 Remastered, right? That's on Xbox. Number 5, Grand Theft Auto 5 Remastered, Minecraft. Number 6, Marvel Rivals, NBA 2K25. Number 7, Minecraft. Number 7 is still here, Rainbow Six Siege, right? Number 8, Cyberpunk. Of course, Cyberpunk got up there. Why? Because it was on PS Plus. Here we go. Marvel Rivals is at number 8. WWE 2K25 is number 9. Ready or Not is number 9 on the Xbox. And EA College Football number 10 and Rocket League is number 10. So, well, Wu Chang got there. This is number 11. Look, it's even on Game Pass, number 11. Ready or Not? Madden NFL 25 is 11 right here. Ready or Not? EA Sports on number 12. College Football. Rainbow Six Siege. Destiny 2. Diablo 4 because it was on PS Plus. Forza Horizon 5. And I can't see 15. Let me see if I can get this up here. Rocket League and Tony Hawk 3 and 4. But right here, the top 10, top 5, what everyone's playing. Again, Call of Duty, Fortnite, Roblox, Grand Theft Auto 5, Minecraft. Call of Duty, Fortnite, Roblox, NBA 2K25, Grand Theft Auto. Shit, 2 are kiddie games. That shows you right there. It's not going to be there, Becca. The only way it's going to be there if it's a DLC comes up, and if the DLC comes up, drops into Game Pass, it will be there. It's not there. I don't know what the top is with all this stuff, but I haven't seen like the whole 100 list. But I'm guessing they're only keeping it to 15. So that's how it is, chat. That's how it is. And this is why, chat, I sit here, I come by. Makes me sad most people want to play multiplayer games. Game on Jesse, you can't be sad about that because at the end of the day, it's not us, the adults. We're not that customer anymore. It's the kids. That's why they're seeing these kids hopping on there because look, guys, listen. Let me tell you something. I'm going to get up for this one. When I was a kid growing up, and you all know this, right? Oh, let me stretch up a little bit. Oh my God, I've been sitting for 2 hours. Oh, it feels good to stretch. So, when I was a kid, chat, I remember growing up. What was the character I talked about while growing up? I was like, Nintendo, Mario, Nintendo, Mario. Everyone when it was Mario, Nintendo, Mario, Nintendo, Mario, Nintendo, Mario, Nintendo. And then Sega Genesis came along. Let me see now. Shout out to the 26 people here on the show. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And also hit that bell. Go for it. Then Sega came along. And we had the cool blue guy with the cool hairstyle and everything. We're like, yeah, Sonic. And we were out there saying, well, Sonic is better than Mario. Why is that? Because Sonic even turns into Golden Sonic. All Mario does is fly, throw fireballs from his mouth, but Sonic, has got shields. He runs faster than Mario. He can break through the speed of light. I mean, those were our discussions. We look at these guys like heroes. That's what we did. We grew up with that, talking about them like heroes, man. I mean, Mario became more popular than Mickey Mouse. All this stuff happened. And we have gotten to a day and age where Sega dies, goes away, and then we got Sony PlayStation coming out there with Crash Bandicoot, yelling, saying, pretty boy to Nintendo, trying to eliminate Nintendo out of the way with this competition. I mean, we were like, yeah, let me go over there because that's the cool teenage console. Games are 3D. We're seeing all this stuff. And chat, seriously, controllers sucked back in the day. They did. Remember when you were playing those 3D games and everything? Getting that camera to be adjusted. Sometimes you had to seriously adjust the camera to follow up on some things. I mean, hell, it was tough for us back in the day. We went through a lot of growth and pain playing these games. But it started to get better, right? We see Sega leave out the market, but the Sega Dreamcast just simply disappeared. And then, chat, we got a PS2, which PS2 said, we're the PC in the living room. Microsoft said, what are you talking about? Let me build you an Xbox right there. And they started with Xbox. Xbox becoming this powerful machine. Then after that, we got the 360. One of the best generations out there. Y'all know why it was a good gen. And if RQ is here, you don't know what I'm saying, right, RQ? Yeah. So let me pull back on this one again. So, Xbox 360, great generation. Xbox One, they fucked up. They did with the Xbox One. They fucked up pretty bad. But even though they sold, 60 million consoles, good time, We got that. And now we're in a day and age where we're seeing something happening that we always thought it was going to be, forever. And that is exclusives. Do they matter? Nope. Because exclusives became a word that was weaponized in 2018. Why was it weaponized? Because when Xbox One came out, like I said, they fucked up. The Xbox One X was the solution to that problem. It was the solution to that problem. It was. It was the solution to that problem. That they made a powerful console. But what did they do? They decided to go and use exclusive as a weapon. And for years, and I'm even a part of it because we've all fell victim to that slander, we thought that exclusives were the shit until ABK happened. And when ABK happened, chat, we learned that exclusives were not the shit. That's what we found out. That's what we found out, chat. And so, chat, nowadays, like I was saying, remember what I was saying, the whole Mario thing? What was the thing that got even more popular than Mario? Believe it or not, simple and easy. It was a game that really became more popular than Mario. And you know what's so cool, Chad? Let me show you all something. Check this out. Why do people... Hold on. Hello. Hello. ¿Pero por qué? Yo estoy en vivo. ¿Qué pasó? Pero yo te iba a escribir casi. Si quedamos chancito. Yo te iba a escribir. Ok, no, pero yo estoy casi terminando. Yo te llamo ahora. Bye. God, everybody's calling me now. That's the thing, though. Everybody's calling me now, like I said, because, O sea, abogado. Weird. So, back to this chat. Like I was saying, real quick. Before I head out, because now I'm going to start heading out as I'm getting focused, but let me show you something real quick before I start to head out. And that is, right? Let me show you this real quick so I can show you something interesting. So, chat, I'm going to use IGN for this one, right? Check this out, which is a good thing. But even though it varies, it varies. This list varies, so I'm going to use IGN real quick because it was the first one to come up. But okay, no problem. We'll use it. And chat, like I was saying real quick, here we go. Let me show it to you. Let me read this. The top 10 best-selling video games of all time. Mario, 50 million, pack-in sales included. Witcher 3, 60 million. Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, 60 million. PUBG, 75 million. Red Dead Redemption 2, 77 million. Mario Kart, 77.32 million. Wii Sports, 82.9 million. GTA 5, 215 million. Look over here. Look over here. Minecraft, 300 million. And last, of course, Tetris. Packs and sales included. But Minecraft, 300 million. This game has even become as popular as Mario Bros. Nowadays, it's Minecraft, Fortnite, Minecraft, Fortnite, Minecraft, Fortnite, Minecraft, Fortnite. That's what's popular nowadays. That's why, when I'm mentioning me as a kid, the Mario versus Sega thing, now kids are talking about Minecraft and Mario. I saw the Minecraft movie. The Minecraft movie sucks. I did not like it. It was seriously like me going back in the day and watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie with John Leguizamo, and I forgot who the other actor was. But it was just like me sitting watching that movie. I was like, "Good God, this is." I don't know which one's worse. The so, I don't know which one's worse, but the Super Mario movie or this one. Seriously, that's how bad Minecraft the movie was. But damn, that movie in the box office was huge. So yeah, that's what kids are talking about nowadays. And so when you buy these kids a console, where are they gonna head to? Do you think they're gonna head to Assassin's Creed? No. Do you think they're gonna head to God of War? No. Do you think they're going to head to Spider-Man? No. They're going to head to these games, and those are the games these kids are playing nowadays. That's what it is. So chat, enough of my rants, and listen up. The crazy ones gotta go. I'm getting phone calls left and right. Y'all seeing it right now. And chat, before I go, tell me what you've all been playing. Please do so. I want to know what you all been playing. What's happening? What's cooking? What's going on? I would like to know, chat. What you've all been playing. There's been a lot of things to play these days. So let's see now. What else chat saying? Sega still owes me home ports of Wave Runner, Top Skater, Stadium Cross, and the Star Wars Trilogy arcade game, man. Oh, man. Sega back in the day was awesome, man. I remember owning my Dreamcast, owning my Sega Genesis, and then after that, I had transformed my Sega Genesis with the Sega CD. Then after that, I used the 32X, man. My Xbox became freaking Optimus Prime. Fortnite, even though a lot of kids play Fortnite. It's big. It's big. I'm not calling it a kiddie game because at the end of the day, it's got gun violence, stuff like that. But kids love that game. They love to. I remember, man, listen. I remember that I need my Tommy Power Ranger skins. There you go. See? I remember that one of my good friends that lives in Iowa, she has a son. And her son was always inviting me, let's go play Fortnite. Let's go play Fortnite. Man, I played the hell out of Fortnite last gen. And it was all because it's like, let's go play Fortnite. Let's go play Fortnite. This kid was all playing Fortnite. That's all he played was Fortnite, 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 Fortnite. Even though a Call of Duty game came out, we played for 2 or 3 days and it was back to Fortnite. Let's go play Fortnite. Let's go play Fortnite. That's all we did was play Fortnite. And this kid was like during that time 70 years old, and we were playing Fortnite with him. My friend and her kid and me. We played Fortnite like crazy. Which now I am the godfather. Is it godfather? That's what it's called? Godfather? Yeah, I'm the godfather of her newborn, which is nice, They came to Dominica and said, Louis, we want you to be the godfather. I said, yay, padrino, let's go. Good stuff. Nice. Beta starting soon. I'm glad that's coming back so people can have fun. Switch to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Nice, Mustang. Nice. Good thing, good thing. Let me see. Sapo says she's been playing Nintendo. Yes, that's good too. That's good too. Like I said, guys, at the end of the day, play your games, have fun. Don't stress what these fanboys have to say. That's all we got to do. Right now, the gaming industry needs to stress on what they got to do to fix everything that's happening out there. And all we got to do is chat, save our money, which is first. This comes first. This comes first. Out of all things, this is the number one thing you've always got to protect. This baby. Then after that, be a console fan. But that comes first. You got to save that money. Godfather Louis, yes. What was that saying that Marlon Brando said? Hey, dude, I need to sit down and watch Godfather again. It's been such a long time. It's been such a long time. Been a long time since I watched Godfather. I need to watch it again. At least part one, because the other one's just, the movie's so long. Godfather's so long. It's so long. It's so long. But chat, thank you all for hanging out with me today. Thank you all for your super chats. Thank you all for memberships. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. I love you guys to death. Tomorrow we'll be back with more news incoming. Let's see what comes up so we can sit down and talk tomorrow. But chat, again, thanks for everything. So chat, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that bell so it can tell you when XBI content comes on. And guys, have a beautiful, and an awesome day. Is it today? Thursday. And as always, I will see you guys on the Xbox International Podcast at 7 p.m. ET when we do come back on Wednesdays with Plume, Sour Blow, and Silent Cypher. On Fridays, they invite me if they don't XPI en Español at 7 p.m. ET, so look for their channel. And last but not least, good morning with Crazy Luke Gaming when I send the signal out over there on Twitter X, Discord, Blue Sky, and YouTube. And that's why you got to hit that bell so you can know when the crazy one comes on, talk about what's happening in the gaming news world. Have a beautiful day, you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning on Good Morning with Crazy Luke Gaming. Bye, y'all. Have an awesome one.